Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode. This is the beard trimming series, and this is episode 4. Again, I'm here with my girl Toia Cuts, the master barber stylist. And we're going to talk about trimming your beard between the first 30 and 120 days. Well, Toia Cuts is here to help us and assist us with this very question that a lot of people have. Now, before we get into that, make sure you guys hit the subscription, hit that notification bell so you don't miss another episode. With that said, let's get right into it, Toia. So, for someone who is, they're in the beginning stages, the first 30 to 120 days, where it's like the precious moments, right? What do we do in terms of, do we trim? Are we shaping? Or what are we doing at that particular point?
From the beginning of growth, you really are not trimming. You don't really have much hair to trim.
Okay.
You're more so shaping the beard.
Okay.
And honestly, it's about leaving it alone, letting it kind of wolf out through those beginning times. But if you have some hairs that just grow longer than other ones, then you can shape it with the liners or the clippers and just do a nice shaping because it's so close to the face. Okay,
so you have, let's take for example someone who has a 5 o'clock shadow and woofing now, but they have they have a job where woofing may be looked upon sideways, right? What should they do at that particular time? Are they keep it at a 5 o'clock shadow? How do you address that?
My best way is to keep the line fresh. If you cannot have a wild beard, as someone with wild meaning the terminology in the corporate America, wolfing, then you would like to take your liners and you're going to trim around the areas, and you can make a detailed line. Now, say for instance, your line was here and you wanted your line to get as high as Brandon's is. Now, if you see, there is a little bit of a shadow here. He's probably growing it in so that it can be as thick as hair down here. So what you can do is fade that in. So you can lightly line up here. Even if you don't see like a lot of hair, it makes a huge difference to just clean up these hairs up here and allow that hair to grow in. And it feels weird at first, I know, and I get a lot of guys like, because
right.
It's just like, it's not that polished look that you see on Instagram.
Right.
Another way that you can kind of get away with that, having that polished look, is to stain the skin. I'm not saying to completely color it, but you can stain it from just this area with color. And it'd be nice to have a professional do this if possible. They would stain it, and that would create the illusion that you have some hair there. Now, I don't suggest it mainly because with color, it's a chemical. Normally you're going to be using a semi-permanent to a permanent. That is very strenuous on the skin and the hair. This is your face. It is a very sensitive place. But if that's something that you have made a decision on, this is an option. But for me, in my professional experience, I try to help my clients by just dusting off this area and making sure that it look as clean as possible and making it the line raised at the same time.
Okay. Now, what about that particular individual who, I want to say around 100 days, you have a little bit more length, start to curl, right? How often should they, shape or line their beard?
With the shaping and lining, it's based off of how fast your hair grows.
Got it. Okay.
So I can say you should do this every week,
right,
or you should do this once a month. But the truth is, everybody's different. Your beard may not be like whoever's watching.
Got it.
And their beard might take a really long time to grow, or they may have alopecia barbae, or they could. There's so many things.
Right.
So the best way is what look you're going for. Based off of that look, you do the experiment to say, okay, it's been a week. my hair grows like a wildfire within 5 days. So I know I gotta do it every week. I gotta line up my beard, or every 2 weeks. And also it's based off of your finances if you're going to a barber.
Got it.
If you're doing it at home and you're good at it, the thing that I find with people doing it at home though is they often take it too low. Because their hands are not that steady.
It's funny because I had a guy who just DM'd me yesterday. He told me he was going to trim his beard, right? And then today he hit me up and said he think he trimmed it too low.
If you're at home and you're trying to do this, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not against that. But what I'm saying is, then it's going to take time, because you have to learn your beard. You have to learn your hair. Women go through this often. We have to learn our hair. When we transition from the relaxer to the natural stage, as that was like a big thing going on at a point, and it's still going on, women discovering themselves, they have to figure out, what do I do with my hair? They're so used to going to a beautician and getting the relaxer. So you may be so used to a barber doing things the old-fashioned, traditional way, whatever that is, and not doing things more on what is going to be beneficial to your beard, and you are trying to take over that. That's going to take time. And you have to be patient, watch some videos, you know, on how to do that. But definitely be careful, because they'll take the line here and over here just way too low, and you're not going to be happy about that.
Right.
And it can sometimes get a little uneven.
Right.
So you got to figure out that technique for you.
Awesome. Someone who's at the 100-day mark, okay? You know, they've graduated from the 30 days of growing, 60 days of growing, and they're like, I'm at the 100th day. For that particular individual, what should they be thinking about, how they should be preparing, and what should they be doing at that particular time? Because that's a special moment around that area.
So around that time, depending on how your beard grew, tangling is #1 sign for trim. All right. Also, you want to see if the beard is finger length. Am I able to grip it with my finger? If I'm able to grip this beard with my finger, then that's how you know. So if you're able to go like this and there's still hair here, okay, you can trim. Especially this is his lower length hair, and this is where it's more longer. You see how much hair that is compared to this part right here. It's like you're barely seeing it, and that's because normally that's how people beards grow, and he may have grew it starting in like fading in, or like when we did a trim, like based off of his jawline, those type of things.
So when you are trimming, you definitely want to trim based on your jawline, the length, and also your face structure in terms of how does that fit with you, because it is your brand.
With trimming, you're not going to be worried about the facial structure and that type.
Okay.
What you're worried about with the facial structure is shaping.
Okay.
So with trimming, you're just more so worried about those ends.
Got it.
Okay? When you're shaping, that's when you want to get into, let me look at the details of the jawbone. Let me look at my facial structure. What do I want to accent? And then with lining, do I want my beard to come all the way down here, or do I want it right under my jawline? What type of look am I giving? Now with his coming all the way down here, that gives him that fuller look. And that makes it that much more intense. So when you put it up here, now it looks more contoured. It looks more like polished. So if you're looking for that type of look, that might be best for you. So you just got to kind of choose what works for you.
Okay, awesome. Well, man, that was a ton of knowledge. Again, you hit it out the ballpark. Well, fellas and ladies, if you felt the way that I felt, please leave your comments down below, and also please check out Toia. Her information will be in the description. With that said, this is your boy B. I'm with my girl here, Toia Cuts, and this is the beard trimming series, and we'll see you on the next episode. With that said, we out.